If you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World, then this video is for you. I'm breaking down the biggest Disney mistakes I see people make all of the time, some before they even leave home, and others once they're in the parks. From planning pitfalls like picking the wrong dates or skipping dining reservations to in-park missteps like sleeping in or skipping water breaks, these are the things that can turn a magical trip into a stressful one real fast. Hi everyone, I'm Molly with Raja Wishes, and today I'm sharing 28 common mistakes with you that you'll definitely want to avoid for less stress and more magic on your next Disney trip. The first half of these mistakes happen in the planning process before you even arrive. Then for the second half, we'll transition into the mistakes not to make once you're actually in the parks. So to kick things off, mistake number 1 is thinking that it's just a regular theme park. Walt Disney World is huge. It is so much more than just a theme park. It's actually 4 different theme parks, 2 water parks, Disney Springs, which is a sprawling shopping and dining district, and over 25 on-site resorts. There is a lot to do in Disney World, not only in the theme parks, but also outside of the parks. The Disney bubble is unlike anything you've ever seen. Mistake number 2, forgetting how big it really is. So Disney World is the same size as the entire city of San Francisco. Not only are the parks extremely large, but all of Disney World is just large, and it takes a little bit of time to get around. Travel time matters, and a lot of people forget to take this into consideration. It takes a while to get out of one park and into another, and it's also going to take some time to get back to your resort from the parks and vice versa. So make sure you are factoring in how much time you're actually going to realistically need just to get from point A to point B. Mistake number 3, not making dining reservations. I can't tell you how many people I've met that didn't realize how big of a deal Disney dining reservations are. This is like its own sport. Popular restaurants fill up fast, especially character meals, so you are going to want to book as early as you can. Dining reservations open up 60 days prior at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or if you're a Disney Resort guest, then your booking window will open up 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time 60 days prior to your check-in day for the entire length of your trip, up to 10 days. So this perk gives resort guests a leg up for those harder to secure dining reservations by technically being able to book further out than that 60-day mark. Mistake number 4, waiting too long to book a hotel. Where you stay at Disney World is a huge part of your overall Disney World vacation and your budget. So this should be one of the first things you figure out when starting to plan. If Disney is running a certain promotion, then don't count on that promotion sticking around. If you see a good deal, go ahead and book that room. You can always cancel later. Disney resorts can fill up pretty far in advance, especially during peak times, so don't wait too long and risk not only getting that promotion, but also missing out on a particular resort. Mistake number 5, picking the wrong dates. Pick your dates wisely. Some weeks are much busier than others, and then there are some weeks that you are just going to want to avoid at all costs. Disney World is also a very popular place for cheer competitions to visit, so if you're staying at one of the all-star resorts, be prepared to be completely surrounded if you are staying during a cheer competition. The dates that you pick for your vacation are super important, so make sure you've done your research and check out a crowd calendar. Mistake number 6, trying to wing it without a plan. Spontaneity sounds fun, but at Disney, it can just mean long waits, feeling overwhelmed and confused, and just not very magical. Lightning lanes, dining reservations, when to ride, which rides to skip, it's a lot. If you think you can just show up and it'll be fine, you are most likely going to be disappointed, and even worse, you're not going to be getting the most out of your park ticket. A little bit of planning beforehand goes a really long way. When your family hasn't spent more than 15 minutes in a ride line, they've seen all their favorite characters, ate delicious food, and best of all, you got to enjoy it along with them stress-free, then the planning will be more than worth it, I promise. Mistake number 7, not budgeting for extras. A Disney vacation is expensive, but it's not just park tickets and hotels. Make sure you aren't forgetting to budget for any extras like lightning lanes, dining, souvenirs, or even extra experiences. It's super tempting to want to splurge on vacation, but your credit card bill will thank you for budgeting for these extra items ahead of time. Mistake number 8, skipping Lightning Lane multi-pass. Now, you may not need Lightning Lane multi-pass for every park you visit or even every park day, but for some parks like Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, this can be a huge time saver. And if you're visiting during a peak time, you are definitely going to want it. Now, this needs to be purchased ahead of time and they can sell out. So don't make the mistake of watching everyone else pass by you in the Lightning Lane while you wait in hour-long lines in the standby line all day long because you just didn't know you needed to purchase this ahead of time. Expanding on that last mistake leads us into number 9, which is not understanding the difference between Lightning Lane multi-pass and Lightning Lane single pass. So there are 1 to 2 rides in each of the parks that are not included in the multi-pass, and instead they require a Lightning Lane single pass to skip the standby line. So these are completely separate from the multi-pass and are a separate fee. So make sure you understand the differences and how to best use them. You'll want to make sure you're getting the most out of your money and have the option to purchase them if you decide to. Mistake number 10, booking too short of a trip. It takes at least 4 to 5 days just to see all 4 parks without feeling rushed. And resort days, also known as rest days, are super important to add in and account for. They can make a huge difference in your overall vacation. Plus, it gives you time to enjoy the fabulous amenities your Disney resort has to offer. There's a lot to do in Disney World, so make sure you're giving yourself enough time. Mistake number 11, not checking height requirements. Make sure your kids are tall enough for the rides that you want to do. There's nothing worse than having this great plan only to show up and realize they don't make the height requirement. Avoid the disappointment and the meltdowns and know what they can ride. Mistake number 12, not planning for travel time inside the Disney bubble. So the entire Disney transportation system of buses and boats, the Skyliner, monorails, they are fantastic, but they all take time. So make sure you are accounting for travel time to the parks and also going in between them. It will take more time than you are probably expecting it to. Mistake number 13, confusing Disneyland with Walt Disney World. So I once saw a post on Facebook that said, "Cheer up, today someone bought plane tickets to California and park tickets to Disney World. At least you aren't them." And I still think of that anytime I need a chuckle to lighten up my day. But in all seriousness, Disneyland and Walt Disney World are very, very different from one another. Disney World has 4 parks and it's located in Florida, and Disneyland is located in Southern California and it only has 2 parks. They are vastly different sizes and things operate differently on each coast. I could actually make an entire series of videos on the differences between Disneyland and Disney World, which more videos on that topic are definitely coming. But my point being, make sure you realize the differences. They are not the same. They are very, very different from one another. Mistake number 14, picking the wrong hotel for your plans. Where you stay for your Disney World vacation is super important. Whether on-site or off-site is better is really gonna depend specifically on your family. I personally am all for staying on-site because it just makes going back for a break so much easier than staying off-site. I also really love the Disney resorts, but I have come to Disney World with a larger group before, and in that instance, staying off-site at an Airbnb was the best option. Wherever you do decide to stay, just make sure that you are taking into consideration what plans your family has and whether or not that hotel is going to make your life easier or harder. So now that we've covered planning mistakes, let's go ahead and jump into the mistakes you're going to want to avoid when you're actually in the parks. So starting with mistake number 15, sleeping in and missing rope drop or early entry. Morning hours are super important in the parks, and if you're a Disney resort guest, then make sure you're utilizing that 30 minutes of early entry. You can get so much done in the first hour of the park being open. And I know it's super tempting to sleep in, you're on vacation, but save that for your rest day. Also, if you're visiting during the summer months, you are going to be so happy that you started your day early. Mistake number 16, not rope dropping big rides. So piggybacking on the previous mistake, not only is it really important to be in the parks ready to go for rope drop, but it's also super important to make sure that you're hitting the right rides during that time. Popular rides will have the shortest wait time towards the beginning of the day, and there are less lightning lanes to compete with when the park first opens, and 0 lightning lanes to compete with during early entry. So this is going to make the standby line go so much quicker and gets you on the ride faster. Time is very valuable in Disney World, so make sure you're using it wisely. Mistake number 17, wearing the wrong shoes. You are going to be doing a ton of walking in Disney World. Most people hit about 20,000 steps easily in just one day. It's a lot of walking and standing. Blisters and sore feet can ruin your trip, so comfy shoes are a must. Make sure you've tested your shoes out before heading to the parks. You don't want to wear brand new shoes, but you also don't want to wear shoes that are about to fall apart either. And everybody has their own shoes that they swear by for the parks. So it's really just what works best for you for that amount of walking. Mistake number 18, skipping water and breaks. Florida is really hot and humid. Make sure you're staying hydrated and take time to rest. If you go too hard, too quick, you will not make it through your entire trip. So know how to pace yourself and listen to your body. It is extremely easy to get dehydrated at Disney, and it is not fun. I normally drink a ton of water, and even I have done too much and ended up getting dehydrated. Any of the quick service locations will give you free ice water if you just ask. Disney is more than happy to supply you with water, so make sure you are drinking it all day long. And make sure to plan an afternoon break. Come time for the fireworks, you will be very happy that you took that afternoon break. Mistake 19, trying to do too much. There is simply too much to do in Disney World in just one trip. You will not get to experience or see everything, and that's totally okay. It's better to enjoy a few things than rush through everything. Figure out what's important to your family and focus on accomplishing those things. Then if you manage to have time left over and you're able to hit other rides or activities, then that's just a bonus. Don't overload your schedule with too much. Remember, this is a vacation, so it's supposed to be fun. Mistake number 20, not using mobile food ordering. So mobile ordering lets you order ahead in the app, pick your arrival time, and then you skip the long lines at the quick service restaurants. I use mobile order about 90% of the time, and it can be a huge time saver. It's also much better than waiting in a long line in the sun to place your order. Mistake number 21, missing rider switch. If you have someone in your party who is too small to ride or just doesn't want to ride, you can utilize rider switch. Just simply talk to a cast member at the ride entrance. At least one person will stay with the non-rider while the rest of the group rides. When the first group gets off the ride, then the person who originally stayed is given a lightning lane pass to ride while the others stay with the non-rider. And you actually can take one additional person with you through the lightning lane so that you don't have to go by yourself. Mistake number 22, not bringing a portable phone charger. You are going to use your phone for everything in Disney World. It is super important and you need it. So make sure you bring a portable charger with you. If you do happen to forget, there are some charging locations throughout the parks, and you can also buy fuel rods in the parks, but they're going to be more expensive than if you remember to bring one from home. Mistake number 23, not setting up the My Disney Experience app. This app is going to be your best friend in Disney World. Set it up before you arrive, play with it before you arrive, and make sure you know how to use it. You're going to need it to check wait times, book lightning lanes, your park tickets are in there, it's how you mobile order. It literally does everything and anything you could ever think of that you would possibly need it to do in Disney World. Mistake number 24, ignoring the weather. Rain happens often in Florida, especially during the summer months, so make sure you are prepared and dressed accordingly. You'll also want to make sure that you're prepared with rain gear, whether that be ponchos or umbrellas. Don't forget to check the weather. Mistake number 25, assuming that everything has air conditioning. So a lot of the standby lines for the rides are outside with very limited shade. I'm definitely looking at you right now, Slinky Dog Dash. That ride is miserable to wait in the middle of the day. The sun is just blazing on you, and it's not the only one. So make sure you can deal with the heat and you are prepared with cooling towels and fans. There are also quite a few quick service restaurants with outside seating, so you might want to head to the air-conditioned options instead. Mistake number 26, skipping shows and parades. Disney is not just about rides. There are some phenomenal shows available in the parks. Don't miss out on some really amazing experiences by only focusing on rides. Shows are also a great way to get a little break and sit down. I'm actually doing a whole video on everything to do in Hollywood Studios besides rides that will be out next week, so keep an eye out for that. Mistake number 27, not paying attention to wait times. Some rides have shorter waits at certain times, but things happen. Watch the app and adjust your plans. If you see a ride suddenly has a really long wait or a really short wait, then adjust accordingly. Rides go down, too many lightning lane guests show up all at once. There's so many different things that can suddenly affect wait times, so go with the flow and make sure to pay attention to the app. And that brings us to the last mistake of this video, number 28, not asking cast members for help. Don't be shy with cast members. If you have a question, I guarantee you they have an answer for you, and if they don't, they will find you an answer. Cast members are there to help you, and they are fabulous, especially in Animal Kingdom. Don't miss out on talking to the cast members on the animal trails. They are a wealth of information about the animals, and you can learn some really cool facts. So remember, cast members are there to help you. Don't be afraid of them, and don't be afraid to talk to them. I hope this helped you feel a little bit more prepared and a lot less overwhelmed. There's so much that goes into a Disney World vacation, but when you avoid these common mistakes, it really can be magical. And if you're still feeling a little lost or just don't have the time to figure it all out yourself, I've got you. My digital Disney World planning guides walk you through everything step by step, from park days and itineraries to lightning lane strategies and dining tips. Think of them as your easy button for planning, chock full of all of my best personal tips. You can find the link for those down in the description below. Like always, wishing you less stress and more magic. Until next time.